Earnhardt, the defending champion, a man who has won here at this racetrack. He has been absolutely second to none in 1987.
Dale Earnhardt is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win, his fourth win of 1987 out of 6. Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
Everyone's wondering what can stop Dale Earnhardt. He's on a roll, 4 wins and 6 starts. I mean, is there anybody can handle you?
There may be a little more here underneath the sheet metal.
Well, I'm sure this afternoon we'll know a lot more, and we've got 500 miles to run. We'll see what happens.
Good luck today.
A magnificent 19th annual $500,000 Talladega 500 is won by Johnsonville, Georgia's Bill Elliott, and the siren is beginning to ring. You'll probably hear it in Dahlonega. Bill Elliott has won. Davey Allison second.
Elliott now getting a challenge from Tim Richmond, but he closes again right in behind Earnhardt, coming down off turn 4. And Earnhardt loses it, goes on the...
Welcome everybody back here for the iSCAR SYMTV Truck Series event for the New Hampshire Motor Speedway race. 110 laps we're going to log in here for tonight as we find out who will come out up top out of this 39 car field for the evening. My name is Ezeckiel Reyes.
My name is Hunter Rupp.
And I'm Garrett Hess.
And we'll be your 3 commentators here for the evening as we get situated here for tonight. 110 laps here at New Hampshire, a fair amount of laps at this 1 mile speedway. So I'm interested to see on who's gonna shuffle to the top and who's gonna go which ways and what like that. But in the meantime of that, currently under practice conditions, the 095 of Parker White leads practice alongside Brody Gardner and Christopher Weil. No surprise to see those 3 up dotting that podium position. But we'll go ahead and drive ourselves right into points and see what the point situation is here for tonight. Christopher Weil in the 41 leads points.
Yeah, another thing to note, obviously we still got a lot of these SPM racing cars still in the fight. We got a couple other mixed independent drivers such as William Schmidt, Dominic Howe. It's been a very tight battle all season. You see all of the top 11 still 300 points, so they're all still in it.
I mean, if you want an indication on SPM dominance, just look at the top 5. I believe that's 3 out of the top 5 are SPM drivers. Christopher Weil, Brody Gardner, and Charlie Byer, if I'm not mistaken, if he's on SPM.
Right, he is. And of course that's something to notify about is the SPM people and how they're going to situate themselves here for tonight. And those other 2 drivers are Blaze Crawford and Parker White. They need to find something to maybe split up those SPM guys. Currently the only person who's really splitting them is Blaze Crawford in the 404, who's currently running 8th in practice. Blaze and Parker have yet to pick up an iSCAR win this season, or a matter of fact, as ever. So hopefully we'll see them in victory lane sometime later this season, and today's their chance.
Yeah, Blaze Crawford got close at that one Chicagoland race a few weeks ago. Parker White obviously was a contender at CTMP and a lot of courses this year. Both of them have been perennial contenders at almost every track. So it's a shock to see they haven't gotten a single iSCAR win in their career.
I mean, and Christopher Weil has just been dominant in almost any aspect of the league. We all know that he won ARCA Wednesday, like the championship, by a considerable margin over me, the best driver in the universe.
Okay.
And he's leading the trucks, and he's doing really good in the other 2 series. So it really shows what kind of driver he is.
Yep, that is right. Looks like practice has hit the 00, so we're going to go ahead and scoot ourselves to the side, play the national anthem. So rise up, remove your hats as we salute our nation's colors. And we are back here live for the iSCAR SYMTV Truck Series event, currently live at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Qualifying underway. Looks like everybody in the field will get a spot in for tonight's event. Currently watching these drivers take laps around the racetrack. Holding the top spot is that number 37 of Glenn Bundren Jr. Actually picked up the Truck Series win last season at Auto Club with a huge gamble, but currently has yet to return to victory lane after that big win. As now Parker White in the 095 works himself to the top.
That's still an impressive run by Glenn Bundren there to get third place. He's not a driver you really think of to be a perennial contender, but yet here he is, third place right now, ahead of heavy hitters like Carson Poindexter, Dylan Basin. Gets out-lapped by Miller there, but still P4. Very good job from him.
I mean, to be honest, the trucks are probably his specialty. I mean, I'm pretty sure he won Trucks Talladega. It was one of those, I believe.
Cup at Dega.
Cup at Dega, my bad. And then he won that insane fuel strategy race at Auto Club. And when he shows up, it's mostly in the trucks, and he does pretty impressive for someone who just shows up from time to time.
Yeah, last season, I think he was a full-time contender last season. Unfortunate for him, he did get... if he did make the playoffs, he unfortunately got eliminated very early. The 37 showing a bit of speed, as well as the 42 of Cole Williams. We mentioned Cole in the Xfinity Series on how he's fast there, but unfortunately has yet to pick up a win. He's another driver, too. I expect to pick up a win later this season, but maybe in the Xfinity Series where he's at his strongest. So we'll have to see on how it'll shape out for him coming... the time when the Xfinity cars hit at Martinsville. He currently sits himself in seventh.
Wow, look at this top three right now. 5,000 separating all of the top three, so we've got a very close-knit field here of Parker White, Brody Gardner in that beautiful Kawasaki scheme, and Christopher Weil, who is in, I believe, a throwback to 408 Racing, which used to be owned by Dario Dadgar. Fell apart, but ended up on SPM Racing, which was just basically the phoenix that rose from the ashes of that team, and they've been running really good ever since.
And I tell you what, this is gonna be maybe a bold prediction, but I think someone who's going to probably snag a little bit of an underdog win later in this season will probably be the 89 of Mitch Hobbs. I've seen him in official a lot, and he is extremely good at tire saving. Like I don't know how to describe it. Like uncanny good. So if he can play his cards right in an iSCAR race, then he has a super serious shot of snagging his first win.
Question is, are we even gonna get that long run? So in the meantime of that, currently we work ourselves into this LCQ, which only has 2 drivers in it. Mitch Hobbs versus Keelan Velsha. Velsha is sort of lined up to dig it out for these 8-lap event, but in the meantime of that, this will give us some time to talk about tonight's race and how it'll go. Of course, coming here at New Hampshire, a flat racetrack. Race is much like a short track, and I expect I wouldn't say too many wrecks, but hopefully not too many incidents here tonight. But the last time we went here at New Hampshire was in the Xfinity race. That was a very hectic event, in which half the race, the first half of the race was filled with cautions, but once we got through that half, Hunter Johnson led the majority of the rest of the way, and he ended up picking the checkered flag up for that event. So it went green all the way from that point forward. So I'm interested to see how it'll go, as Mitch Hobbs is forgetting what wheel is. Oh my god!
There goes the takedown maneuver. But yeah, as you were saying, New Hampshire flat track. So I think that's something that brings out the best in the drivers, watching them race a flat track, especially like this one. Tends to be very skittish and very wild on a long run in these cars, especially. So it should be very fun to see who has the long run speed, especially if we do get long runs.
I mean, yeah, if you want someone who is really good at this track in particular, or I mean, he's just good in iRacing in general, you have Hunter Johnson. He won the Summer Series Tour Mods race here. I believe he won Xfinity
green flag
when he went here.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Interestingly though, I think he actually started as a spectator for today's race, which is a little weird, but yeah, will not be going to defend his crown, I guess.
Well, in the meantime of that, currently Belsha working around the racetrack, just having fun by himself. We'll pull up points again as we see the situation with Christopher Wild, Brody Gardner, Blaze Crawford. We also got to mention the situation with Chase. Corey Long, Mark Frimpong, Malachi Drake, Aaron Brown, the 4 drivers I would say are really in the bubble around where the cutoff is on that 13th spot. Only 13 drivers make the chase, and currently the last person in is Mark Frimpong. Seems as though it's about a 11-point gap between himself and Malachi. So a fair amount of points for Malachi to make up to Mark Frimpong. But of course, if Mark has a bad race, Malachi could easily make those up.
We've got a couple of people that are heavy hitters that are currently out right now, like Umar Diallo, you see right there, Sartaj Man, Ryan Kendrick, Josh Patterson. I'm sure a lot of those are because they didn't make all the starts this season, but still, it's surprising to see some of these guys out of the chase at the moment.
I mean, yeah, Trucks is pretty much the most competitive series in iSCAR currently, and I'm pretty sure it has like the most participation out of any series. And so this will probably be like points are most reliant on how many starts you have. So you don't so if you miss a race, it's gonna be really bad for you.
Yeah, that's right. The iSCAR system, the iSCAR point system works a bit differently on other point systems. The point system is based off the field size. Let's say if 30 people show up for one race, only 30 points are awarded out, minus bonus points, of course. But next race, you might have 62 drivers, a full field for that next race, and usually coming next week, I'd say that would be a fairly big race in which a lot of points are going to be handed out at Talladega. I'm interested to see on who will shuffle around in points after that event, because if you don't make that feature, it's going to be that's 62 potential points lost right there.
Yeah, Talladega, obviously a track I think a lot of drivers here outside of the chase right now are circling on their calendars because it can be very wild, especially if you don't have anybody to work with. You're independent and you just kind of go with everybody, which is a lot of the situations for a lot of these drivers. So you just have to kind of try to avoid the wrecks and pray that it's enough.
And time is running out for anyone who is on the bubble to get into the chase. There's only three races. 3 races after this one for the truck schedule, and all of them are gonna have some monster points payouts. So they're gonna need to show up if they want a feasible shot, because it's Talladega, then Auto Club, then Bristol for the final race of the regular season, and then the Truck Series playoffs kick off with Darlington.
Yeah, kicking it off at Darlington is going to be something else, because that track is going to be a nightmare for some people who don't know how to get a handle on it. Of course, nicknamed the Lady in Black for a reason. Nobody knows. I wouldn't say nobody knows how to run the track, but it's really hard to run the racetrack. But in my opinion, that's my favorite racetrack, because it is hard. It's challenging, of course, egg-shaped, and just about one viable lane to run around. And that's going to be interesting for that to kick off the chase, as well as coming the next week after that. It's going to be Kansas. And that itself is going to be another crazy race from start to finish. So,
yeah, wall proximity also being added or fixed in the newest update as well is going to change a lot about how people run that track too, Darlington and Kansas, because that could really change a lot of things up. I don't think any official series has gone to either of those tracks since that change. So that should be very fun to see how the racing changes when we get to that. But first we have to get these regular season races through first.
Yeah, I think this will start to kick off, I guess you could say, like, the advent of multi-groove racing again. Assuming it also gets improved on, we could have multi-groove racing at Kansas for trucks. Anything can really happen with the new wall proximity update.
yeah, that is right. And I think once we head to I think in 3 months from now, that's when the next build would come out.
Yeah, I think so. We're like, what, 2 weeks in?
Yeah, we're 2 weeks into the build, so in a couple of, in a few months.
About 2.5, yeah.
Yeah, 2.5. You'll see the next build come out, so maybe it'll affect some track dynamics and stuff like that. And I'll be around a couple weeks into February or around March. So who knows? The tire model may change. And that's right at the end of the season as well. We end the season off for this series, we ended off at March 12th. So I'm interested to see on how some drivers will get a handle on the rest, the end of the season as well.
Looks like, I don't know if warm-up will be skipped or not, but if it isn't, then yeah, we got another 4.5 minutes before we get some on-track action here at New Hampshire for the New Hampshire 110. So I'm excited for this, guys.
Yeah, and if we're going to talk about updates, considering there's probably going to be a new build right in the middle, or possibly at the end of the season, it's a lot up to adaptability on how drivers can adapt to new updates, because the tire model changes every update for almost any car. Like the Indy car got it, a lot of touring cars got it in the last update. There's just anything can happen. It's up to the drivers to try to like get used to the new updates.
Yeah, that's right, and I'm interested to see on how the chase will filter out those people as well. I think once we come down to the final four, the update would have already been implemented, but it'll even play another factor into how that final or the second to final round will go. So Who knows on who'll come up top once we find out on how that'll all go. But in the meantime of that, currently we get warm-up underway. Drivers taking laps around to do some final tuning and prep up. But we'll talk about the race itself here for tonight. Track length, over a mile, called the Magic Mile for a reason. Track configuration, oval, unless you want to run the road course in field or something like that. Elevation, around 400 above sea level. Time of day, afternoon setting. Pit road speed, 45 miles per hour. 4 tire sets these drivers are going to have to strategize around. And fuel window, I think, is a 45 to 50, but I'm not really sure. I might have been over or under that. But we'll have to see as we progress with the night.
Big thing I'd like to point out is 45 miles an hour pit road speed. That is a very fast speed for a 1 mile course. So usually I think drivers for this track length are usually accustomed to 35, but we're adding 10 miles an hour onto that at this course. So that's something you're going to have to watch out for and keep in mind now for pit road.
Yeah, speaking from experience, I recently did a league race here. You don't actually lose like a lap or two from pitting, because the max speed you can probably get down before having to brake for the corner is about 140, and when you're going through the corner, you're barely tiptoeing on the edge of 100. So it's not like a super speedway where if you pit you can lose so much time.
Super speedway pitting itself is a whole different story under green or under caution as well. So that's a story we'll have to hold off for next week once we do see the truck series at Talladega. And we already saw what the ARCA race held. That was something else, in my opinion. Currently a minute.
We're seeing the leaderboard about to normal out. Yep, Parker White, Brody Gardner, about what we expected.
Who was the driver who did really well last time the 73? Brandon Lightus. I think he did I think he finished top 5.
He ran there all day, I know that.
Yeah, that's right. So he's in the 51. I think he switched numbers, but Lightus, he top 5 that race, and I'm interested to see on how he'll do here tonight, because I think New Hampshire is his kind of racing style. So he's a person to watch out for this evening. Of course, Parker White, the fastest person in practice and one of the fastest people in qualifying. I expect him, Brody Gardner, and Christopher Wilde to easily filter to the top once we do get a solid green flag run in. For right now, I wouldn't say as expected. I do expect a lot of cautions dotting these first 25 to 30 laps. So sit back and enjoy the wrecking, I guess, as we are finally up with warm-up. And we'll go ahead and pull the grid right in front of your screen. Congratulations to Parker White in the 095. He wins the pole alongside the 55 of Brody Gardner.
Row 2, we have Christopher Weil and Nick Miller, teammates on SBM Racing.
Row 3, we have the 37 of Glenn Bunger Jr. in 5th, and the 08 of Dylan Basin in 6th.
Row number 4 going to consist of the 42, Cole Williams. He's been really good in the Xfinity Series. We'll see if he could make something happen in those trucks. Carson Poindexter in the number 21. He, too, has been winless this whole entire season. I expect him to pick one up sometime later this season as well.
Row 5, we got Dominic Howe and Aiden Kirker, 2 very fast cars, starting on the 5th row here.
Outside the top 10, we have Joe Berge in 11th and Brandon Lightus in the 51, qualifying in 12th.
Rest of the order is going to be shown on your screen. Find your favorite driver, and hopefully they'll come out up top here for this 110-lap event. And you'll see some interesting schemes get ran here for tonight. Of course, Throwback Weekend lining up on this date. So some throwbacks, throwing back to old iSCAR races, some non-series related, some, of course, you see on the racetrack and such. So keep an eye out for some colorful paint schemes here for the evening.
Yeah, I noticed we got a lot of people that are mocking some of the older teams. Just off the top of my head, obviously SPM with that 408 scheme, and then Supreme Motorsports is running a proximity racing scheme that says Supreme on it, and that has to be one of my favorite schemes in the field, to be honest.
There's your pole sitter, that 95 or slash 095 of Parker White. He'll roll off first here for tonight. Has yet to pick up an iSCAR win, as I mentioned. So here he is starting on top. I expect him to pick one up here tonight. He came second to Logan Klemp at Iowa in the Cup Series. Here he is, going to lead the field coming to the green.
Yeah, obviously him, I'd say Brody Gardner and Christopher Weil all probably have the best shot of winning this race, but I think we could see something randomize a bit if some of these guys get trapped on a different strategy from other people, and that may change a couple of things, and maybe we could see somebody else from the top 10 just shuffle into the lead and hold it, but should be interesting.
And New Hampshire as a track is just pretty weird to drive. Some people have made the comparison that it's a mixture of Martinsville and Michigan, where you run the second lane, but it's like Martinsville, you have to brake and coast to not burn up the tires and just to get a good entry and exit.
I guess Johnson did decide to race after all. I saw him there. Last New Hampshire Motor Speedway winner, as the graphic said.
Alright, here we go. 110 laps are going to go into the books. Like to tune us in here for tonight's Max Speed TV event. Parker White in the 095 will lead the field to the green. Pace car scoots itself left, and we'll see what Brody Gardner can do on this start. Green flag is out. We're up and away at New Hampshire.
Somebody going all the way to the bottom of the racetrack there as we shuffle into turn 1. Parker White with so far a pretty easy lead, but Brody Gardner holding on the outside. They'll be side by side probably off of this corner.
And I think everyone's plan right now is just to try to ride it out and not run into the back of people in front of you, because
you have one right there.
Just like I said.
And Brody Gardner, I believe, took the lead as it was happening. That will be the first caution of the day. Looks like Sartaj Man. And ooh, who's that in the wall over there? Is that Joe Berkey?
It's Corey Long.
Oh, that's Corey Long in the 93. My mistake, but what happened there? He is definitely done.
The first car I saw sideways was, I think, the 49. I'm not really sure, but it happened in the midsection of the field. It was a proximity machine. Or it might have been a Mach 1. No, it was actually a proximity machine. Yeah. And it seemed as though, I think it was Liam Sheen who was trying to go to the low side. Oh, there was definitely contact there with the 77 and 49. And here comes everybody piling right behind.
Yeah, Aaron Brown looked like Peter Kenny might have gotten a piece of it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Peter Kenny gets shoved into it by whoever was behind him, and then Corey Long hits. Is that Poindexter stopped on the top?
I believe that's a 24 of Enzo Gauthier.
Oh, yeah, no, that is Gauthier. And that blows up the motor of Corey Long.
Those two are teammates, actually, so not a good way for a team debut. Gauthier and Corey both on Where You At Racing, as we see some drivers hit pit road already on lap number 3. But here we go, as expected, we're picking off with another first lap caution. Fortunately, taking out a lot of contenders here with this one. But in the meantime of that, looks like Parker White has held the lead. Surprisingly, I thought Brody Gardner had him there in the restart. He was to the high side of him, tried to cross him over into 3, but it looks like the caution came out before he could do anything of it.
I think that may have been scoring loops that did give it to Parker White, but Parker White, nonetheless, still your leader here at New Hampshire.
And I bet that that the leaders are going to jump every restart, because New Hampshire is one of those tracks where you want to just keep people behind you, and New Hampshire's just single file racing happens really quickly once about 4 or 5 laps settle in.
Yeah, that's right. To get yourself situated into a rhythm here at New Hampshire, probably going to be key. We saw it at the Xfinity race. once everybody got into a rhythm, all those drivers who saved will filter to the top, and all those drivers who used up their stuff really early can drop back really, really quickly. So as we progress in this one, we'll see if we'll spark off a green flag run. So Parker White, in the meantime of that, will lead the field to the first restart of the evening. Brody Gardner in the 55. We'll see if he can get a nice an even start like he did last time. See what he could do.
I'm off turn 4.
Base car's in, and here we go. On the hands of the 095, who hit the throttle early, and he'll clear the 55 of Brody Gardner. Garner's going to jam up right behind the 95, and Miller really nowhere to go. Sort of boxed in line. Opens up the door for the 41. Christopher Wilde goes side by side for third. And near contact right behind Poindexter, and I think that was Dominic Howe. No, it wasn't. It was the 39 of Aiden Kirker getting a bit close. On the meantime of that, top 3 pull away.
Yeah, it looked like we got. It looked like Brody Gardner got a not very good restart. Had to get a little bit of a kickstart by Nick Miller there. Get pushed all the way down the front stretch, but looks like Glenn Bunder pulling out for a move, and we're side by side for a lot of positions back there.
Yeah, a lot of battling in the back and up front. I think people are just trying to get into a rhythm because it's a bunch of single file racing.
Lots of people loose off of turn 2 there. Hunter Johnson's already moved up a lot of spots.
Roll off the 4th corner. Parker White has pulled himself by 3/10 over Brody Gardner in the number 55. Christopher Wilde in the 41. He too is there, as well as Nick Miller in the 95. Each of these drivers have at least one win, except for the 095 Parker White, who currently leads this thing. You see Nick getting a bit loose right up off of turn number 2, but that 5th car in line, that would be Dylan Basin. A bit of separation between himself and 4th place. Also a bit of separation between himself and Aiden Kirker, as one car getting sideways in the background. That's the 21 of Poindexter. They're going to take it 3 wide off the corner. It's Dominic Howe surely trying to find a way through all this mess.
Yeah, it looks like Poindexter's struggling with a loose car, but Poindexter hits the wall. It's very tense back here. That 102 of Zach Corbett also getting a piece of the action now. Mark Frimpong and Dominic Howe just can't find a way around him. Looks like Poindexter has some early run struggles there.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting that he had more of a loose car, because I tested it here, like the trucks here, and it was tight, and some people were downshifting to get both a good launch off the corner and to get the car turn more. So it's certainly interesting that he had a looser car than normal.
And that's just, I think the cons of downshifting. You're running higher revs right up off the corner, and there's more torque on 3rd than more than 4th, and that'll also eat up the rear end. So if you want to save a bit of tire, I suggest you want to keep yourself in 4th gear. Even though you're going to be losing a bit of time, you're going to be saving tires doing it, and it might be beneficial in a long run. And right now, we've lasted longer than what the Xfinity race saw on the first half of their race. But Parker White, in the meantime of that, you see right here, the gap is starting to close between himself and the 55, Brody Gardner. Well, you see all this scrambling right behind. One car hits the outside wall very, very hard, and the 42 goes around.
Yeah, Cole Williams hardened the tire barrier. Looked like a couple of cars had front end damage. There must have been a big checkup. Obviously, we saw Carson Poindexter holding him up about a second off of Glenn Bunder, and I wonder what happened. No caution yet.
And I'm looking at the chat right now in the session, and apparently Hunter Johnson has disconnected.
Yeah, 3 laps ago. Not really sure what happened there, so gotta get an update on that sometime later. But in the meantime of that, everybody just trying to get into the rhythm, as I said, and a lot of scrambling around here for this 8th position. 8th place is already 5 seconds back of this leader, and that just tells you the differential and what the leader has versus this whole entire field. This 8th place of Dominic Howe, and you see right behind, side by side, right behind Carson Poindexter and Mark Frimpong getting a bit close. Zach Corbett in the 102, he's also peeking in the mix.
I think a couple of these structures had bad qualifying sessions, because as you can see now, they're starting to catch up to Glenn Bunder, and I'm sure a couple of these other cars towards the front of the pack. But As you see, Mark Frimpong pulls a heavy move down the inside, but files back in and changes his mind, I guess, as we head into turn 1 again.
Yeah, the majority of the field has now mostly singled out, as we see Corbett and Harry Grindell get close to each other. But like I said earlier, New Hampshire's one of those tracks just to produce that single file, mostly contact-free racing.
I want to say contact-free racing. This track sort of races like a short track. You compared it to Martinsville, and you see right here, to the low side, goes Frimpong under the 21. A lot of cars, if you don't hit your corner right, you're going to wash up right up into the corner, and it's all a matter of how you're going to file back into the groove. 21 and Poindexter into the outside wall just a bit. Doesn't slap it too hard, though. He'll file himself back in line into 10th. And Harry Grindle will work himself down low of Corbett to move the 70 into 11th place as the 51, Elitis, Beyer, and Wileman all watching the distance. All in the meantime of that, up front, it's a whole different story. Parker White, in the meantime, is checking out alongside with Brody Gardner, and they already pulled themselves. Looks like 6 seconds over that 10th spot.
Yeah, you saw with that battle between Frimpong and Poindexter, who's now been shuffled out of the top 10 by Harry Grindell, you saw it looked like Carson Poindexter was pushing it a little more into the corner than everybody else, and that can make a big difference at a flat track like this on your tires, because obviously you have to turn more to get it to stick when you get some more speed on the entry there.
And I tell you what, Zeke, you were 100% correct about nailing the corner. If you brake too late, you are both going to destroy your tires in any speed that you had, because you're going to go into that dark gray pavement, and you can barely even turn up there. You have to go super slow just to get through that corner.
Yeah, that's right. The first 3 lanes in the corners are paved, rather than those outer 4th and 5th lanes. You shouldn't be there in the first place, but if you do somehow overshoot the corner and get yourself into the bad stuff, which I'd like to say, I think that's where all the marbles are, and where all the bad grip gets caught. And you see right there, Gardner is right up against that seam, trying to use as much paved area as he can. And it is a momentum-based short track, so you got to roll through the corners as much as you can before you get back into the throttle, and try to carry all that momentum through the through onto that straightaway, because you're making up time always in the corners. So just a matter on how you're going to hit your marks through 3 and 4, as well as 1 and 2 on the lower side of the racetrack.
Yeah, you mentioned hitting your marks. It looks like Dylan Basin hit his marks pretty well there. He gets by Nick Miller.
All right, man.
With a great move down the inside, and we have a yellow here on the racetrack. Looks like it's for, would that be the 16 of Henry Tabor? Yes, it would. 32nd place. Watch, see what happened to him. Looks like he's running a Joey Coulter throwback.
Unfortunate for him, he does get trapped 1 lap down, and as I mentioned, get yourself in that 4th, 5th-ish groove, and oh, he might have gotten loose off the corner. I'm not really sure what happened there, but I have to get a chopper cam.
Looked like some netco between him and Paul Granada. May have been legitimate contact, but definitely something.
Oh, there it is, yeah.
Yeah, for sure, netco between him and Paul Granada, and that 04 does a nice job locking it down to avoid any other severe damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely some contact between those two, but of course the netcode registered it as a bit more than what we saw, and in my opinion, I think that's going to be what I'd like to say an axle hit. So for Henry Tabor, I think he's going to have a lot of minutes of optional, unfortunately, as Parker White is going to hit pit road. Everybody else will stay out. Very surprised about this strategy, especially this far into the run. You could strategize, I'd say, a quarter to... I thought these people would split this race into quarters, so around the... If you want to hit pit road now and use that strategy to your advantage, you would hit pit road right now. So Garner, in the meantime, will stay out. And not only that, for the 095 of Parker White, he also overshot his pit stall just a bit. So I don't even know if he's... Actually, he might have topped off on fuel, so...
I can 100% guarantee that Parker White pitted early because he's going to expect more cautions. And then once the next caution comes around, the people in front of him are probably going to pit, and he'll be shuffled back up front or near the front.
I wouldn't say he'll shuffle to the front, but you go ahead, Hunter.
Yeah, it's very weird that he came in of all of the top 5 that could have come in. It looked like he was saving his tires the best because we were a decent amount in that run. He was still pulling a gap, so I'm surprised he was the one who decided to make this call to come in. I would have thought it would have been somebody further back in this top 5, such as, you know, Dylan Bass and Dominic Howe. But that did move a lot of people up the order.
Yeah, as
and lightest in the top 10 now.
Go ahead, Hess.
Okay, and it's been 22 laps, I believe, and some of it's been under caution, but this track is really abrasive. We're getting reports from most of the drivers that there's about an average right front wear of about 90%.
Yeah, 90% into, I'd say we've run 12-ish laps under green. So do the math right there. Can't last the whole race on one set. You could strategize around with 4 tire sets. Of course, you start first set off on that first lap.
Yeah, 4 sets, obviously kind of a lot considering we're only just using the first set, but still adds enough strategy to make it interesting, in my opinion, because you don't have to worry about running out too early, but still, it can play a factor later on.
What I find a bit interesting is those drivers, Nick Miller, Parker White, they, except Parker White now, Parker had to fling back onto pit road, but for Nick Miller, he actually only took fuel only. If I were to hit pit road now, I'd take on tires as well to offset your strategy. Not only that, you'll have some fresher tires to work yourself through all those drivers with older tires, but I'm not sure why Miller just took fuel only, especially in this portion of the run. He's going to get ran over by all those drivers right behind who took on tires. Max Yerk, another person, fuel only, but William Schmidt, Justin Johnson, tires on their machines. So we'll have to find out on how this will shuffle out as the pace car scoots itself down on the pit road. Green flag, Brody Gardner's now your leader.
Gardner gets a very good pull away on his teammate there as they file into turn number 1 now. Looks like Miller, Corbett battling.
There's definitely going to be increased aggression from new tires versus old tires because 10% makes a whole lot of difference, especially at a track like this where you're turning a lot.
Still see the battling right in the background, but this is a round where Nick is, and he, again, didn't take tires. Will fling it to the low side, try to pass Corbett. Up front, though, they've all singled themselves out. As I say that, they go side by side for 3rd place. Dominic Howell works himself to the bottom side of the 08 of Dylan Basin. They go side by side for 3rd. Some 3-wide action in the back. That's Parker White trying to make up as many positions as he can. He flings it down low into the top 20. What a move by him.
Yeah, you can just see those new tires sticking so much better than those cars ahead of him. Looks like they're sliding out a little bit more, and just Parker White a lot better, and we wreck. I believe that is that
Brady Wildman and Blaze Crawford. Oh, Wildman's not happy with Blaze.
Not happy. It looked like Blaze brake checked him there to show his displeasure with him, but they both lose spots now.
Not only that, those drivers right behind trying to take evasive action. Lost a lot of time to those people up front, so they're still sort of scrambling around for this area, but it seems as though they're going to situate it out in a 1 and 2. But here comes the driver with some fresh rubber. Then this number 79, William Schmidt, recently hit pit road, looks like 7 laps ago. He'll work himself inside this top 10, so some more 3-wide action as Parker White works himself down low. Liam Sheen and Charlie Byer in the mix as well.
And one of the differences that new tires make is that the bottommost line is at New Hampshire is normally just like a no-go zone. That's why I said both Martinsville and Michigan, because at Michigan it's really only for passing when you have super fresh tires.
Yeah, that's right. Once everybody gets into a rhythm, you're usually only running one line, but with those fresher tires, you have other options like that third lane or that flat side of the racetrack on the first lane. So for William Schmidt, all he has to do is just pick his lines right and just pluck off traffic one by one, and he's doing so right now. He's now sitting in 8th, as Parker White also, with fresher tires, he had to actually recome himself down on the pit road. Parker is now inside the 10th spot.
Yeah, just cutting his way through the field. I think this is a lot of his prowess showing right now. But Brody Gardner's still pulling a pretty decent lead. It looks like about 4.5 tenths on Christopher Weil right now as we cross the line to start lap 30. Dominic Howe, another car that's been moving his way up. Ever since he got by Carson Poindexter, he's just been on rails, really. And now he's in the 3rd spot.
Schmidt to the side, or at least try to go to the high side of Mark Frimpong. Frimpong cut him out. But now Schmidt will try to work himself down low. Oh my goodness. Frimpong is not cutting William any slack whatsoever. And they jam up for 5th spot as here comes Harry Grindle into the picture, as well as Parker White. The 70 is sort of in a new tire sandwich as White finally works himself down low to the 70.
Another fleet of cars on new tires also coming behind them. Looks like Liam Sheen. I saw him come down the road. He passes Brandon Lightis. A lot of cars pass Lightis there. Looks like, is that Miller behind them as well?
Yeah, again, Nick didn't take on tires, though, hence why he's sort of floating behind this top 10. Again, not really sure about that strategy. Now we're pretty deep into this run, 10 laps in. Still a lot of time go.
And Mark Frimpong is kind of known to be a wall to anyone trying to pass him, as he's making life not very easy for Parker White. William Schmidt finally got around him, but he has the inside line on Parker White.
Parker and Mark just about doored off of that second corner. Mark is being a holdup to the 70 and the 77 right behind as Harry gets a bit tight right up off the corner. Again, the 77, Liam Sheen, he's on fresher tires, so if I were Liam Sheen, honestly, in my opinion, get those drivers on older tires out of your way. Maybe scoot and boot them. Not enough to wreck them, though, as here comes Justin Johnson. Nice run for him inside this top 10. Oh, he's gonna turn 70!
But he turns Harry as I'm trying to...
What a save!
Amazing save by Harry Grindle. All that drift practice finally coming to use in a race.
Oh, got a wreck in the back, though! Kirker goes around, right in the front stretch.
Alright, man, caution is out. Caution is out.
He got clipped.
Yeah, he hit Corbett after he spun around. Oh, that's a shame for Aiden Kirker. Was running well inside the top 10 on the first run. Was making his way back up after getting tires there, and now that's all over.
Man, what a job by Harry. We'll see that one more time. But it seems as though Justin was just trying to file himself get a bigger arc into the corner and clip the 70. Luckily, the 70 will have this caution to his benefit, but right behind, though, different story. We have some wrecking and, oh, bit of 3-wide action. Contact there with a 51. Brendan Lightis, and that was Zach Corbett who ran into the 39.
Looked like Lightis may have... No, he did get hit, but he was also running very close to them coming off of the corner, which, considering he was on the high side, I guess they weren't expecting it. Kirker got the worst of it for sure. He gets nailed in the outside wall, then comes back down on Corbett, and they almost wreck again, but they all save it back there. And then, yeah.
Yeah, it seems as though Nick in the 95, he was on the apron trying to wash up. You can't really make the corner as well as you can, being that low. William heads himself down on the pit road, even though he hit...
Parker White stayed out there, it looks like.
I think it was more of netcode with that incident, because you saw there was like a little bit of gap between Nick Miller and Kirker, and that just shot Kirker into Lightis, who was just an innocent victim of that.
Most of the field came down, but a couple of cars stayed out, mainly Parker White in that 095 car. Well, that strategy may have come to use for him as he will now retake his lead.
Yeah, now, I think we're deep enough into the run that everybody had to hit pit road sometime, but I'm very surprised those drivers who hit pit road that first caution decided to come on to pit road yet again, so that's another set wasted. The only person who have yet to hit pit road is Charlie Byer in the 7, who's damageless. And for Parker White, of course, a bit of fresher tires than Charlie, and as well as Justin Johnson in a 33 after had contact with a 70 of Harry Grindle. Both of them going to lead it 1-2 coming to the green.
Gotta say, I kind of like this strategy for Justin Johnson here because even if he does lose a few spots, he'll still be probably running better than he was on the first run. And then by then, hopefully, we'll be deep enough into a run where everybody pits anyway, and you end up gaining a lot of spots out of it. As you see, the full race ran by Charlie Byer on this set of tires, so he'll have some for the end here, for sure. Most everybody else, though, has come in for tires outside of this top 3, though.
Alright, so still a long ways to go in lap number 37 out of 110. Parker White retakes the lead and off of that pit cycle and lead it coming to the green. Alongside,
I think it'd be most.
You go ahead.
I think it'd be most interesting how the field like literally stacks up because of the difference in tires. Because there was a decent chunk of laps that separated the two caution periods, and that's going to be a good amount of wear on the tires, especially for people like Parker White and William Schmidt, who are actively burning the tires, trying to pass people on like the bottom side and the high side and all sorts of sides.
William Schmidt, though, he actually took fuel only, so he didn't use up a second set under this caution, so he's going to be a sitting duck like Parker White and Justin Johnson here for this upcoming restart. So they got to be aware of where all those drivers on fresher rubber will be as the pace car will scoot itself left. All in the hands of the 095 of Parker White. He'll lead this field coming to the green. He'll suck it up just a bit. Charlie Bell will bump him. And up and away we go. 3 wide already. To the low side goes Christopher Weil. I don't think he's going to make that work, though. He'll have to be on the flat side of the racetrack. Never mind, he will, because Charlie Byer did not get a good entry into 1, and they're stacking up 4 wide.
Yeah, everybody just trying to get around this slow car of Charlie Byer. No offense to him, but 37 lap old tires, at some point, it's going to be too much, but we have a caution. It looks like Aaron Brown, I think, and Mitch Hobbs.
This was all the way in the back, so I expected to wreck toward the front based on how that restart went, but it looks like this one... Oh, Peter Kenny.
Oh, yeah, Kenny just got that 89. Then he gets hit by Aaron Brown. Aaron Brown having a rough night avoiding these wrecks.
Yeah, it looked like Peter just didn't brake enough, which is a pretty common problem at these tracks. So, unfortunate for Mitch Hobbs. That's going to put a damper on his, well, race and chase hopes.
Yeah, it looks like all 3 of them will file onto pit road alongside Paul Granada here.
We'll go under quick caution yet again. So this will give some drivers who stayed on the lead lap, who stayed out on the racetrack, some more leverage. All those drivers with fresh tires are going to have to wait. That was all the way in the back.
Looks like for the most part the order will remain unchanged, other than the fact that Byer has moved down a spot alongside Justin Johnson because of that brilliant move by Christopher Weil in turn 1 there, right before the scoring loop.
While in the meantime, yeah, He's now in second off of that restart. Justin Johnson falls one back. So, for that number 41, he has some clean air off this restart, and he is in the best position with these fresh tires. Unless Brody wants to pull the same maneuver like what Weil did that previous restart, Brody's going to be trapped behind the 33 and the 095 for this restart.
I am curious to see, though, if Parker White will be able to hold on to the speed he had earlier, or if it'll be dampened by a little bit of tire difference. But we'll have to wait and see. Depends on how well Parker saved those tires coming up through the field. Should be coming along the green this time, I believe. Already almost halfway through this one, about 10 laps.
Yep, that's right. Race summary on the bottom right.
Yeah, before the race, I made the estimation that we'd have under 5 cautions. So if we do get another caution, there goes my prediction down the drain.
I'm honestly surprised we've only had 4 cautions so far. We're averaging a caution every 10 laps, which is a total contrast to what we saw in the Xfinity series during that first half. Every restart we had a caution of some sort. It seems as though these trucks have provided themselves with a nice setup. Unfortunately, it's leading to a lot of contact, though. Hopefully everybody could get situated and themselves rolling here as here we go off the restart. Lap 44 out of 110 gonna go into the books, and 185 of Parker White, 41 Christopher Weil. Again, 41 Christopher Weil, newer tires on his machine. We'll see what he could do with this clean air. Pace car scoots itself left. Green flag, green. Up and away, and looks like Parker. Nice jump over the 41, but I'm sure the 41 will probably cross him over into 1 or close the gap coming onto the back straightaway.
This was a brilliant restart again by Parker White. I'm just surprised at how well he's getting to jump on a restart every time, it seems. As Charlie Byers still moving back spots, this was expected. Obviously, that strategy relies heavily on a caution-heavy race. And he obviously can get it here, but looks like we have a battle between Justin Johnson and Dylan Basin for the, I believe that would be the 4th spot. Looks like he might get passed for 5th as well by Dominic Howe.
If I were Justin, I'd try to follow myself in line, and I wouldn't necessarily let all those drivers on newer tires by, but enough to hold them off. But here we go for the lead. 41, Christopher Weil works himself to the backside of the yellow 95. He got the nose under him off of turn number 4. And to the front goes Christopher Weil as Parker White gets a bit loose off the corner. We'll see what Brody Gardner could do with the 095 now, since 095 is going to be a bit of a blockade between himself and that leader of the Christopher Weil. So Brody will work himself to the underside of Parker White off of turn number 2.
Yeah, I think that was basically destined to happen. I think Brody getting back to the lead will entirely depend on how fast he can just straight up clear this 95 for Parker White. As looks like he may have stayed on the outside coming off of turn 4. Yes, he will. So we are still side by side.
All right, man. Caution is out. Caution is out.
Oh, we have a caution. Malachi Drigg.
Not sure if the engine's blown on that machine. Speaking of blown motor, there's a car or a truck with a blown motor in the background. Not sure who that is.
I believe that's still Corey Long, yeah.
Oh yeah, that is Corey Long, but we'll get a replay of what happened heading
Looks like somebody went around in the back, too.
Oh, that's the second time that Nick has ran into... Oh, that's a hard hit. That was Glenn Bundren Jr.
Looked like somebody in the back went around, too, off of turn 2. I don't know who that was, but... Oh, no, they just shuffled around, but, yeah, Nick Miller just... Straight... Oh, wait, no. I think he was trying to anticipate Cole Williams, who had a weird incident there, but then Max Jurek had a very scary moment there, barely avoided it.
Yeah, as Malachi overcorrected right up the racetrack, Max on the brakes hard to avoid a round, but yeah, that one's definitely on Nick. He washed up into the corner that time.
Can't tell if he was anticipating for Cole Williams or if he just
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, not really sure about that.
Malachi basically got scooped up there by Glenn Bunger, went in the air, got some solid airtime, considering we're at New Hampshire.
Well, there goes my prediction.
Oh yeah.
Another car that's moved his way in the top 10 is Brandon Lightus in this 51. We were talking about him pre-race. Yeah, P9 now. And it looks like he has enough speed to stay within this top 10. Maybe he could play his cards right and get a top 5 here.
Looks like nobody hit pit road off of this caution. You see in 9th place Brandon Lightus. Looks like as low as 16th place. But his highest was in 7th. Currently sitting in 9th place as of right now.
I think we'll see a good battle for the lead now, though. Gardner has gotten by Weil. I mean, not by Weil, by Parker White there. So it should be fun. Hopefully, we can see a great battle for the lead like we've been having.
Lap 55 is the halfway point. As you see Glenn Bunger Jr., of course, getting caught up in that incident as Malachi overcorrected right off the corner. Fortunately for Glenn, looks like a lap down. Working himself around. Got behind the pace car.
Like they may have given him the lucky dog. No, he has to let him by.
4 people on
There's
pit road. Aiden
Kirker.
Kirker sort of stopped on the low side of the racetrack, probably trying to situate himself in order. All those people who did hit pit road looks like are all from 20th on back. So Beyer, Connors, Urich, Welleman, Belsha, Miller, Tabor, White, and Bachman all hit pit road.
Oh, lights are off.
Yep, here we go. Yeah, now sort of waiting in anticipation, because had a span of cautions up to now. We'll see with Christopher Weil on fresher tires, and as well as Brody Gardner on how they will function in clean air. Parker White still being a blockade for Dylan Basin and Dominic Howe. Sort of stuck in the middle. But I'm interested to see if Parker White could catch a caution at the right time, if he'll jump these two, or vice versa, if he'll go down off of the caution. But here we go. His car's in. Well, we'll hit the throttle early.
Green flag.
But away we go as they work into turns number 1 and 2. Frimpong with a daring move. He's going to take it 3 wide into the corner. Dylan Basin needs to watch his spotter. Looking right behind. All sorts of drivers are scrambling. Using all the racetrack to their advantage. Frimpong does not get going anywhere off of that 3 wide maneuver. Trucks in the wall right in the background as well. But up front, Brody Gardner tried to sail to the inside, get to the 41. Looks like no.
Another thing about this racetrack, there's only 1 or 2 good lanes, but it's a very wide racetrack. So if you have new tires, there's a lot of room to make something happen. And I think that's what we saw with Mark Frimpong there, who stays in 6th spot after that. But yeah, very daring move on that racetrack.
Sheen tries to go to the bottom side of, I think that's the 24. That's the 024. Noah Allison, nowhere to go for him. Val for 3rd. Val for 2nd now. Brody Gardner trying to fend out Dylan Basin.
The thing with this track is that the the wall is sort of like the turn 4 wall at Kansas. It comes up a lot quicker than you expect, and that's why a bunch of people bounce off the wall, because the car gets tight and the wall just comes straight at them.
Yeah, that's right. This is actually a track that hasn't been recently updated to the NASCAR minimum, I'd like to say. Of course, some new tracks got the update during the little off-season that NASCAR had with a lot of safer barriers being implemented. This is not one of those tracks. You see on the outside, no safer barriers right up against the wall, so I'm interested to see if iRacing, once they do update this racetrack up to spec, if that'll even skinny it out even more off the corner, because I know it made a huge difference at Dover when they put safer barriers in for that racetrack. You couldn't really out-track it as much as you could back then.
Yeah, another thing I've heard talked about a lot was PJ1 traction compound being implemented, which would change the way this track drives dramatically, because kind of made it a two-lane racetrack in real life, but obviously still mostly a one-groove racetrack here in iRacing. Very old version of this track, but heavy battle here for what's this spot, the 9th spot?
Yeah, it looks like 9th between William Schmidt, Carson Poindexter, as Joe is going to take it 3 wide into the corner. No Allison boxed in. Charlie Byer also nowhere to go. A lot of contact as Poindexter gets shoved up the racetrack. All sorts of crossovers being pulled right here. They're 2 by 2 off this corner, and you see some multiple trucks hit the outside wall as well. Man, this is dangerous, as Joe is going to get the benefit off of that, but Byer's not letting him go. Byer, the one on fresher tires than this whole entire pack. He's now worked himself into 10th.
Kind of the reverse of what we've been seeing with Byer.
Sometimes that aggression is kind of, whoa! Sometimes that aggression's kind of needed because it's hard to pass here.
Yeah, Poindexter gets swallowed up after that. Near missed contact with, I believe that was Josh Patterson. Weil still with a comfortable lead coming into turn 1 here. And looks like we have a breakaway of about 3 trucks.
Side by side here for this 6th position. Harry Grindle works himself to the bottom side of Frimpong. Harry's done an amazing job here to retain this position. His highest position has been 6th. We'll drive it to the bottom side of the racetrack, try to clear the 53. Indeed, he does so successfully, but we'll see if Frimpong can pull a crossover. Looks like won't happen, so Harry into 6th place, but Frimpong's still there. He could probably drive it to the bottom side of the racetrack and sort of scare the 70 into a mistake. You saw right there, Frimpong was all over the rear end of that 70, and it sort of pushed him into the corner. Harry thinking Frimpong would probably drive it into the corner a bit deeper than Harry was expecting him to, and that pushed him into the corner, and that's something you also have to keep in mind. Everybody's braking zones here is very, very different, as we do have a caution that will come out, this one toward the back. Zach Corbett, who's 2 laps down, involved in this one.
Where you at racing having a very tough night tonight. Looks like Mitch Hobbs may have been the catalyst of it.
Yeah, Hobbs, so
somebody hit the wall. Elon Belsha, I think.
Yeah, Belsha hit the wall, but I don't think that was really a catalyst of how that wreck unfolded. It was just these two just making contact. Both of these actually being lapped down machines, but you see right about there.
Oh yeah,
looks
Corbett
like
came back down. Weird contact there.
Yeah, that's another axle hit.
Corbett went down and Mitch came up. One of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, big net code. We saw the similar thing happen with Henry Tabor, I want to say, about 20 or 30 laps ago.
I want to put any fault on both of those drivers. They're just, as Hess said, one went down, one went up.
Charlie Byers stays out. Looks like
Patterson also stays out.
Will follow him. Looks like Glenn Bundren on the same strategy, but I believe Bundren is a lap down. A couple other cars branching out of the pit road entry. So I should give the lead back to Byer. And Granado was the third car that stayed out.
Here we go.
Very interesting strategies being employed. Looks like Liam Sheen, I believe, in that 77 machine. No, he will get beaten out by Christopher Weil. Then Sheen, Allison, and I believe that was Weil that came out in the 4th spot on pit road. I mean, not Weil. Brody Gardner. Dylan Basin, a terrible pit stop right now. He's still in there. He was running 3rd before this.
Yeah, that is not good. Especially losing track position here at New Hampshire, where it's super hard to pass. This is the last track, in my opinion, in which you want to lose track position. Says, excluding short tracks, of course, but yeah, for Dylan Basin, his work's going to be cut out for him, unfortunately.
We all know he's capable of working his way up front, but it's gonna be significantly harder when he's all the way in the back.
I'd have to think he got a pit penalty. I don't think that was because of repairs or anything.
Yeah, or maybe a 35-second pit stop.
That'd be an oddly short time penalty, but I don't know what could have happened.
I don't think you can't serve time penalties under yellow flag conditions, so I think it was either A, repairing option, or B, just wanted to shuffle himself to the back, but I think A is just a more realistic option. I'm not sure where he got the optional damage from, but either way, unfortunate for him, he's going to be all the way in 26th spot.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Charlie Beyer, the new SPM racing car, to be leading the pack. You see, Christopher Weil will be 3rd place now, but yeah. This is going to be his first lap slow of the night. Charlie Beyer been on a very weird strategy to everybody else, but pays off for now. He's in 1st.
If you want a decent gauge on how bad Basin's pit stop was, he came out behind David Bachman, who pit on the 2nd lap. So that just highlights how bad that stop affected him.
You see, we have 2 cars up at the front, 16 laps for Charlie Beyer, but ancient tires here for Josh Patterson in 2nd, 30-lap-old tires. That's just about half of the laps we ran.
Yeah, that's right, and that's going to be a huge detriment to that outside lane, so everybody has to watch out for Patterson. So for Liam Sheen and I think Brody Gardner, hopefully they could get themselves clear before they start bottling up and stuff like that. But Pacecar will scoot itself down the pit road. Beyer will jump the restart, and it seems as though he's going to let his teammate by on the front straightaway. A bit of team orders maybe, as Beyer will let the 41 take it into turn number 1. Meanwhile, for 2nd and 3rd, though, Noah Allison works himself into the picture, and he is now in the top 3. Oh, he gets loose! And around he goes!
Oh, no. Commentator Curse Classic there for
of course.
The Johnson graphics machine of Noah Allison of that 024. Comes back into this series after a little bit of a hiatus. But he's back and spinning in front of the field, apparently, as he gets back on the racing surface. I don't think anybody helped him other than himself. I think he just got too loose off of turn 2 there.
Cannot believe nobody ran into him. That had disaster written all over it, but yeah, Noah, bit too much on the throttle there. He was also on the flat part of the racetrack, which is like
I think it's that low side that got him loose. You see Parker White behind him also got loose the same way, but he held on to it, and I don't think Noah was expecting it. A bit weird to see the dirt track specialist spin out there, but yeah, he will shuffle himself back out to, I believe, outside of the top 20, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, what a shame for Noah Allison. The last time he was here at New Hampshire, I don't think he raced the Xfinity race, but I remember vividly on how the ARCA race went here. It was not pretty, because that 024 didn't even cross the start-finish line. Didn't even complete a lap. He was on his roof across the start-finish line because he was flipping after a first lap incident, or the start incident, and yeah, it was disastrous. And luckily here, 68 laps into his run, but unfortunate for him, he's probably gonna have to go on a pit road and use an extra set.
Yeah, that does suck for Noah Allison. Was a very interesting strategy, though. I will say that. We still have a couple cars still on it, but Christopher Weil back into the top spot. So unless Brody can get around these cars fast, or anybody for that matter, then I think we might see a bit of a breakaway on this next restart.
I think that spin might have also been the product of cold tires, because when your tires are basically fresh, they're cold and they get super loose, and at short tracks, loose probably isn't the best thing. I mean, neither is tight, but you know, cold tires at short tracks most of the time leads to spins.
Looks like Patterson has some nose damage. I believe he got into it with somebody earlier on, but yeah, it's something of a note there. Top 5 is now Christopher Weil, Charlie Beyer, so an SPM 1-2 here. Josh Patterson, then Parker White, and then Brody Gardner. Sounds like your top 5 for now.
I'm primarily interested on how SPM will coordinate this restart. I don't know if Beyer's main goal, considering he's on super old tires, is just to stack up the field and to pad Weil's lead to as much as possible.
I mean, you saw it there in the restart. As soon as he hit the throttle, he opened up the door for Weil to take it into turn number 1. So he's probably just trying to file himself in a line right behind his own teammate. He doesn't want to hiccup his own teammate, and understand why.
An interesting move into the top 10 here. The number 6, Max Urich, after getting in some stuff early, almost getting his race ended, will end up in 9th for now, looks like. So, good run for him so far. Another one, Harry Grindell, a little bit of a surprise, but here we come through turns 3 and 4 to take the restarts to take it away, Cable.
Yep, here we go. iSCAR will scoot itself in. Green flag is out. Wow, with a huge jump as he works himself into turns number 1. Garner's going to fling it 3 wide into the corner, try to take 2 for 1. Right around the 0-2 of Patterson, or at least tries to. Looks like Beyer got to run off the corner. Parker White is there as well. Well, they got to be aware because it's so tight off of turn number 2. Like you mentioned, it's like Kansas. And they're still 3 wide for that position, but Garner's going to be able to fling it to the inside just enough to get side by side with his own teammate of Beyer.
Beyer holding on astronomically well on those, I believe, 20-lap-old tires at this point. Parker White and Brody Gardner both get to the inside. This should be a relatively easy pass at this point. And that probably just changed the course of how this is going to go for Christopher Weil as well.
Look at how sideways everybody is right in the background. Speaking of sideways, one car around.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
Who was that back there? Looked like a Stuart Friesen throwback. Yeah, David Bachman.
So around he goes.
Briefly moved into the top 5 after staying out for a second there, but got shuffled to the back. May have been a self-spin. See on the bottom of the racetrack.
Same situation. Oh, did he get help?
No, he just...
Oh.
Well, maybe a little bit, but he was already kind of around.
He had the option.
He definitely got a little bit of help, though.
Yeah, he definitely got help. I mean, he was already loose before they got to the exit of the corner, but Noah Allison just finished him off.
Same corner that Allison himself wrecked in a few laps ago, but will end up being David Bachman now. That is the one around in that corner. And the top 3 is back to normal, I'd say. It is now Weil, Gardner, and White. So this should be a great battle here. With about 40 laps to go, I'd say. Yeah, about 38-ish to go.
Now we're getting to the point in which we're going to have caution after caution, I think, because there's so many cars, so many trucks on the lead lap. And there's going to be battling left, right, to the front of the field, all the way to the back of the field, with all these drivers on the lead lap. So it's just going to be hectic from start to finish. I mean, from this point all the way to the finish. And Now the question is, how is it going to go for all these drivers who are gambling with a bit of tire strategy? I think they're going to pit at least one more time. It's just a matter of when you'll see that green run kick in. I think they've used half of their sets. So if you strategize with 30 laps to go, I'd say you want to hit pit road around 15-ish or 20 laps to go.
Cars like Bayer are going to have huge advantages there on the tire sets. They basically can do whatever they want at this point.
That's right.
Yeah, and then Patterson as well. But a couple others, Parker White has been on a bit of a weird strategy. He might even be able to do some funky stuff on his tire sets. But, yeah. So this should be very fun now that we've gotten into the closing stages of this race. This is when, in my opinion, New Hampshire shines.
Yeah, but again, as Hess mentioned earlier, this track, that turn 2, turn 4 exit runs a lot like Kansas. That wall just sneaks up on you in a hurry, and the transition off the corner is very, very flat. It's a very early transition. As soon as you're in turn number 4, the track is already starting to flatten out. So you got to get yourself a nice exit as low as you can. Not as low as you can, as straight as you can off the corner. Or else you're going to be into that outside wall, or you're going to be around, because we've seen a lot of cars get loose or tight. It's either one way or another. Only really one line to stabilize yourself, and I'd say that's around that second-ish, third lane-ish, the outside wall. So it is where you want to run your truck off the exit of the corner. We'll see some good examples here off the restart, hopefully.
Yeah, 34 to go on the restart.
Yeah, 34 to go. So we'll see some good examples on how you want to run off the corner.
I think the way this track's so wide is it just distorts your brain into thinking you can push it a lot harder because it's wide.
Right.
And I think as a result, it makes you just push that little bit harder, and it just makes you hit the wall. So you kind of gotta battle. You kind of gotta win the mental game off of the corners, and so far we've seen who's been able to do that and who hasn't. Especially off of turn 2 on the restarts, I've noticed. But here comes the pace car down pit road.
Pace car is in. Everybody race stacking up 3 wide already in the background. I think that's one of the proximity machines trying to take it 3 wide, but in the meantime of that, green flag is out. Wow, with a big jump into the corner, but I don't think he's going to be clear. The 55 of Brody Garner. Garner's to the outside. They're 3 wide in the background. Bauer gets shoved up to the outside wall. It looks like Wild got a nice straight exit off the corner. I don't think he got a straight enough exit to clear the 55 of Garner, but Wild could shove it into the corner and clear him just by a bit. Hopefully he'll get the run off the corner as Parker White enters the mix. Another caution comes out.
Oh, we are just starting to get going too, but I have no clue what this could have been for. Had to have been somewhere in the back.
On goes Noah Allison.
Yeah, Noah Allison again, so that's 3 straight cautions that Noah Allison has been a part of. I believe that may have been the 3 out of 3 for him, so it may be bye-bye Noah Allison in this race, but you see him sitting there, looks like in turn 3. Try to catch what happened. I'll have to hear word from our in-race admin and commentator Garrett Hess on whether or not that is the 3 out of 3 for Noah Allison.
That is actually 2 out of 3 for Noah Allison. One of those was determined to be a racing incident, the one with Bachman in him, because Bachman got really loose, and I don't think Allison had much of a place to go.
Okay, let's see here what happened. 4 wide on the corner for a brief second.
Allison's in the middle. Oh, they're 4 wide again.
Patterson, yeah, Patterson sends it, but it looks like Brady Weileman and Noah Allison were the 2 cars that made contact there. And he brings it down pit road. Man, it seems like we're just getting going, and every single time we do, we get a caution. So hopefully,
always in the back as well.
Green. Yeah. So hopefully we can get a nice little green flag run here, see who has it and who doesn't, because all of this top 3 at this point, top 5, I'd say actually, on just about the same tire strategy at this point. So it should be fun now.
I'd say we now at this point, I see two separate strategies going to be played. Stay out or come on in. These drivers are going to have to gamble around on how these cautions are going to play out for their favor. If you're that number 41, Christopher Weil, I'd say to stay out. You're in the best position, best spot as of right now, with only 30 laps to go this time by. But who knows? You could get a green run in, and those tires are going to wear off. So the question is, if we're going to get a green run, and if so, how bad is it going to wear the tires in which you're going to have to hit pit road and take on a set? Also, the matter of fact on who are you going to come out with, as well as how many cars stay out on the racetrack. So it's sort of a mind game on if you want to hit pit road or not. And nobody has right now. They've stayed out 17 laps all the way. So I think once we hit like lap 90-ish, or maybe if we see a caution in lap 95, I think we'll definitely see some people on the pit road for those final 10 laps.
As we approach the final quarter of this race, I'd like to throw the spotlight on Parker White in that number 95 machine. Has had a little bit of a rough time coming back up ever since he was the leader at the very beginning of this race. Obviously, one of, if not the fastest truck right now, I'd say. But has had a rough time with the tires, but I think that strategy may start paying off here at the end. We should get one to green this time. I have no clue. It looks like we will. But, yeah, Parker White, I think that's honestly my pick to win this one, in my opinion.
You bring up picks. How about yours, Hess? Looks like
maybe doing some adminning.
Yeah, probably doing some adminning right now.
Yeah, my bad. I'm just trying to keep track of everything. There's just some confusion over penalties for no Allison.
All right, well, who do you got?
We'll let him do his thing, but I'll
yeah,
go ahead.
I guess we'll.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
In my opinion, I think Christopher Weil has this in the bag. The way these cautions are playing out to his favor, track position is just so favorable here at New Hampshire. That number 41 seems as though he's probably going to go to victory lane here tonight.
We're about to find out.
Pace car's in. All bets are off once 41 hits the throttle. Here we go. Back up and away. And already some 3-wide action as drivers try to fan out in the middle portion of the pack. Seems as though they get it straight. Some 3-wide action as Beyer way up the racetrack, right up against the safer barrier. They're going to be 3-wide around that spot.
That was a very dangerous spot to be 3-wide. I think Beyer thought the better of it, but we have... No, we don't have a caution. That's just a different notification. Henry Tabor slapping the wall pretty hard back there. As looks like it's mainly Brody Gardner and Christopher Weil up here in the top two. Pulling away a bit from everybody else, but we'll have to wait and see.
They're still really close around the spot.
And to continue what Hunter was saying about the like what Hunter and Zeke were talking about, the turn 2 walls, the car gets really tight in the center of the corner when you apply the throttle, so that makes it even easier to slap the wall and possibly collect another person.
Yep, that is right. They got to be mindful of each other and roll as much as you can before it becomes too much or too little. In the meantime, with that Beyer, you see right there, that's too much. I think he's on older tires, just trying to let as many people by. Gets caught off from Schmidt. Bit of contact right behind.
Bundling in the wall hard. Yeah, that's going to affect some. It looks like the fender may have come apart a little bit there on that 37 Nesquik machine, so that actually may affect the aerodynamics of the car. But Christopher Weil for now, a 2/10 lead up on Brody Gardner. And then it's another 2/10 back to... Actually, another 4/10 now back to Parker White in that 495 position.
Dude, this is what I was talking about. If we see a caution around lap 90-ish, who's going to hit pit road now since we're on 22, 23 lap old tires? Well, you also got to consider some cautions. Play to factor into that. But all these drivers on the racetrack still have at least... Oh! Car on the wall, it's Dominic Howe. He slaps the outside wall. We'll see if Frimpong can make a move. Speaking of moves, here comes to the inside is Gardner.
Oh, may have slid out a little bit too much
bro! Dominic goes around!
Yeah, no, that was definitely something with Mark Frimpong for sure. No caution yet. It looked like he did not go around all the way. I'm curious to see what happened between he and Mark Frimpong. You saw out of frame there for a second.
All right, man.
Oh, now the caution comes out.
Side. Yeah, there it is. I wonder if it's for... No, it's for Aiden Kirker in this 39 machine. Looks like everybody will avoid him for now. And Corey Longback on the racetrack after having a blown motor. But yeah, Aiden Kirker involved in his second caution today. See what happened with the 86 and 53 here first. Yeah, that was definitely, I'd say, 100% Mark Frimpong. But he'll lock it down and hold on to it as Dominic Howell moves into the racing surface.
Of course, got to scroll all the way back to... Here's
There
what
it
happened
is.
to Aiden Kirker.
Did he get help?
I think
Oh.
I think Blaze Crawford slid up into him, and then that just caused a little bit of a kerfuffle.
Looked like Kirker was trying to anticipate Blaze, then Blaze blinked out, which caused him to go into Dylan Basin, which is actually big for Basin, I think.
Here we go. People are on pit road. This is why I mentioned about.
Oh,
And-
yeah, there's Gardner and White.
Guess who stays out?
Oh,
It's
this is
wild.
gonna be interesting.
Not only
Wonder if
that,
he'll try to go to the end or not. I doubt it, but
look how many people stayed out with him, though. These are drivers we haven't seen toward the front yet. Brandon
There's Brandon
Lightis
Lightis.
also staying out. Nick Miller is also out in the racetrack. Paul Granada.
Bachman Tabor, who spun out earlier in this race.
Yeah,
Keelan
so...
Belcher, the LCQ winner, is 11th now.
Yeah, and this is what I was talking about. If we see a caution around this time, who splits the strategy? And it seems as though Weil will take the gamble to stay out. And I think that was a good one, based on how... Look at all those drivers right behind him. These are not... no offense to all these drivers. They haven't been running toward the front yet. So, what can Weil do to take advantage of all these slower drivers right behind? Or what can those drivers right behind who did hit pit road, what can they do to work themselves through all this mess?
At this point, I think it might actually value them to keep it a little bit safe. So that way, hopefully, the cars behind them can hold up a while and have a kind of reverse impact when, in my opinion, Weil inevitably has to pit, because I don't think you'll make it 30 laps on these tires at this point.
Nah, I think Weil's doing the right strat. With this amount of cautions for almost last place, aggression is going to be even higher as people try to scramble for whatever points they get this late in the season. And all Weil has to do is basically act like a brick wall in front of the people behind him, and he can just secure at most, or at least a good finish, at most a win.
I know he's up here because of pit strategy, but Paul Granada, that 04 Ford F-150, now running in 5th place for the time being, but last time the trucks were on air, he was actually leading in the final corner at Eldora before wrecking across the line, flipping over and finishing 2nd, his career highest. But yeah, here he is running 5th now on the pit strategy.
This is going to be madness. Weil, of course, as the leader, you have to jump the restart. With a teammate alongside of him, as well as a teammate in the back, this is all to Weil's advantage. This is the way he wants it to play out. And all those drivers who came on a pit road, they're going to be starting 12th, 13th. They're not even inside this top 10. And you know how hard it is to work yourself through all these slower trucks and stuff like that. If this thing goes green all the way from this point forward, maybe they'll have a chance, but it's just a matter of how you're going to pluck yourself through traffic for all those drivers who did hit pit road. Oh man, they're going to have a hard time with this restart as a pace car scoots itself on a pit road. Weil will hit the throttle. Here we go.
Green flag, green flag.
Looks like Miller gets a good restart.
Look at them toward the back. They're 4 wide.
Yeah, we see that aggression.
Oh, this isn't ending well.
Riding the wall there.
They're 5 wide. What is this? There they go.
Basing around. Yeah, basing around in front of the field, but looks like nobody actually hit him that hard. That's a big shock.
Now, Hess said it. This is not gonna work, and they were 5 wide in the corner. What in the world? And
I think that was just that aggression from those cars on the new tires. You see Parker White there as well was part of this 5 wide. Brody Gardner started the 5 wide, and Bason's just looking for room. He just too little, too late, and yeah, he almost went around, but he actually did save it.
yeah, Basin was looking for a hole, and no way there was a hole there. You're already 4 wide into the corner, and
SPM sandwich there for him.
yeah, and that was the 44 Tyler Connors who was trying to find himself under, and Joe Berge, the 83, the one who clipped him. Fortunate for them, no damage. I don't think as much damage to their vehicles, but this just benefits all those drivers who stayed out on the racetrack. For people like Christopher Weil, Nick Miller, Brendan Lightus. Well, even less laps for all those drivers who hit pit road to make up some time.
Yeah, and a lot of cars getting shuffled back there on that restart, but I am curious to see if Weil will try to push this tire set all of the way or not, with 18 laps to go here. I don't know if there's more cautions, if he'll decide to come in or not. But obviously he won't have as much long run pace as, you know, a Parker White or a Brody Gardner or Mark Frimpong even, if you want to go that far back. But I don't know. It entirely depends on if we get cautions or not, if the strategy will work for a while, in my opinion.
Yeah, unless Weil gets like a terrible restart, which gives the opportunity for Nick Miller and Brendan Lightus to go at him, I think Weil has this in the bag. The leader just plays such a big advantage on these restarts and such like that. So, as I said, unless the 41 has a hiccup, all benefits to him, because he might have secured this. You might have secured this race already, 94 laps in.
I mean, I do like the aggression from Parker White and Brody Gardner there on that last restart, because it did gain them spots, even though it was a very brief one corner run there. So maybe if they can do that some more, maybe they won't even have to worry about cutting their way through traffic, and then they can just set their sights on Christopher Weil in that 41, who ever since technically it hasn't really relinquished it even on these pit strategies.
I just don't know though if I think there's going to be at least 2 or 3 more cautions from this point forward. I don't think those drivers have enough time. They have to work themselves to, looks like, 10 drivers, including the leader himself. And who knows, each driver is different. Who knows, you might be held up one time by 9th place, but 8th place you could get by him in a breeze.
Well, we know both of them can do it. It's a matter of if the green flag will allow them to do it, in my opinion, because we have seen them do it before this race. So I think if we get green, they could do it. If we get yellow flags, that throws a wrench into the plans unless some cars start pitting.
I don't want to be mean, but it's going to be a pain in the you-know-where to for the faster drivers to get past the people who are normally running in the back. So the pace cars battle pulling, I'll leave to Zeke to give the green flag.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, these drivers 2nd through 10th, they've yet to run up front, so this is going to be a huge hiccup for all these drivers as the green flag flies. Already 4 wide action toward the back. So much aggression. I wouldn't be surprised if we have another wreck here in the next few moments. Still 4 wide around this area. Max Urich stuck in the middle.
That was beautiful by Brody Gardner to move himself.
Oh my! There they all go!
Oh, it's the big one.
And that involves some big contenders.
Tyler Connors, it looks like Justin Johnson, Harry Grindell.
There was about at least 15 trucks that had some sort of contact. And that literally looked like a shark just took a big bite out of the boat and swallowed it whole as half the field flung into the grass.
Yeah, one driver got turned into the turn 2 wall, and then everybody just... huge gaggle of cars just racked all at once. Okay, it looks like our two contenders did get through it. Parker White and Brody Gardner both ahead of it narrowly. Looks like, yeah, Frimpong may have gotten net-coated a little bit, and then everybody else behind him either checked up and hit the wall, or just straight up knocked the wall down.
Yeah, I don't think Frimpong really had an option.
That was a good bit of netcode.
Yeah, definitely netcode between Uric and Frimpong, or Connors and Frimpong. Yeah, no, Uric and Frimpong have netcode there, and then everybody else goes around. You see Bergie, Sartaj, looked like Jeff Patterson, Harry Grindell.
But there was like barely enough room anyway, right up off the corner, and you see how many. Oh, hard hit by Justin Johnson at the guardy rail.
Dominic Howe has been running in top 5 almost all day, and now I'd say he has no shot of doing that anymore with that truck. So a lot of contenders for this top 10 have been taken out, and this may give some people who have been running in the back all day a free top 10 now.
Yeah, that's right. That happened toward all those drivers who took on tires, and that too is something I forgot to mention about. Those drivers who took tires are gonna have to shove themselves back in a hornet's nest, and that's the result of getting swallowed in on all those drivers who stayed out.
I will say this. Gardner and White have both gained about 2 or 3-ish spots in the short time we've had on both of these restarts. So they are making their way back up, but it's very slow, and they're only going to have another 10 or so laps to get through another 8 cars before they can even set their sights on Weil. And who knows how far ahead Weil will be by then. So it looks like this may have actually definitely paid off for Weil at the moment.
I think there's not enough time unless there's a wreck up front. I don't think there's enough time for Brody Gardner, Parker White, not Dylan Basin, and some others to work their way up through the field.
Still should be interesting to see if they can at least get a top 5 out of it. But as we come across the line, it should be 1 degree, and I don't see why it wouldn't be. We'll have to wait and see. And yep, there it is. Pace lights are off.
And the thing about this, you also have to mention the 37 lap old tires, but Nick, 21 lap old tires. So Mitch Hobbs, he too, 26 lap old tires, but Mitch is down on RPM. Cannot believe he's running 4th though.
I'm hearing reports that both Liam Sheen and Carson Poindexter are the first trucks on fresher tires, or the freshest tires.
Poindexter's 5th, so that could actually play a
that's
big
right.
thing.
You are right about that.
And Poindexter was running in the top 5 for a brief moment, so we know he does have some speed, and he is on the newer tires. This could be very interesting now that I know that information. Here goes the pace car, and Killboy, take it away.
Now, what can they do to work themselves inside this top 5? Green flag is out.
Green flag.
And a bad restart by Nick Miller, and look how much they bottle up. They're 4 wide again. Garner flings it to the bottom side of the racetrack under Paul Granada and multiple others. They go side by side for the 2nd spot. Opens up the door for Poindexter.
What a move.
That changes everything for Gardner's strategy if he can hold on to this.
Oh my gosh, look how many cars are just trying to dart it to the inside and get out of... Oh my goodness. Oh, Mitch Hobbs, around he goes! Is that going to bring a caution out, though?
All right, man, caution is out.
There he goes. And the caution comes out anyway. Oh, there's a wreck in the back, though.
Yeah, it definitely was that wreck in the back that brought it out. Who is that around? Looks like Brody Gardner moved into the top 5 there. So now he has nowhere to work up to, and we'll definitely have a shot. Looks like Blaze Crawford gives Kevin White Jr. in the 13 a bit of a chrome horn there.
I think that was a reaction to the wrecking. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, which is a shame for Kevin. He was having a very silent and peaceful night, but as Joe Berge also gets a piece of it. Yeah, that does suck for Kevin. He was running well within the top 20, which is what you want to do as a rookie for sure.
But that all got sparked out with, looks like Liam Sheen
Did
all these
Hoffman by
others.
himself, or did Sheen give him help?
Oh, no,
Oh,
it wasn't Bachman.
Yeah, no, Bachman definitely gave him some help. He fell out of the top 10 because of it as well. So many trucks just getting by. Mitch is lucky that nobody piled in there.
Bachman looked like he just overshot the corner and got into Liam and Mitch.
But look at this. Brody Gardner, 5th place. Brilliant move down the inside on that last restart. Can he do it with the other 4? We'll have to wait and see. But here he is in 5th now. And you see the huge tire difference. 25 laps separate Wiles' last stop from Brody Gardner's last stop.
Yeah, I don't know how worn that 55's tire is compared. I mean, of course it's worn compared to the 41's, but is the 55's tire even good enough to gun for that lead in time? Because there's only going to be 4 laps to go once we do take the green flag. So
another thing, the 3rd and 4th place cars both pitted 25 laps ago. That's only 9 laps older than Brody Gardner's tires. So will he be able to cut through them? I think if he were behind Lightus and Weil right now, he would be able to pass him. But Miller and Poindexter throw a big wrench into his plans for now, as we're probably going to have a 5 to go restart here.
Yeah, that's right. See, there's 3 separate tire strategies going on all at once. Of course, with Weil and Lightus, they gambled to stay out. Currently, it's working for them. For Poindexter and Miller, they came in a bit earlier than what Brody Gardner and Mark Frimpong did.
Else.
Yeah, everybody else, basically. So
yeah, everybody else on new tires.
That also means Carson and Nick have a better advantage on Christopher Weil, but they're going to be chased down by the 55 and 53. So they're going to have to multitask on defending and attacking at the same time. And you only have 5 laps to do it. So for Christopher Weil, he has to get going ASAP before Poindexter gets to him, or the 55 of Brody Gardner gets to him.
Oh, I think we're going to see a massive jump here from Weil. I don't think that's a question at this point. I mean, you're going for the win. You're going to go hard on this restart. You have to, or else you will definitely get swallowed up. And then who knows what will happen from there. But for now, Weil, 41 laps on those tires. 41 is the number as well. Maybe it's his lucky day, but we'll have to wait and see, as the pace car should come in this lap.
Who knows? People get lucky on New Year's. Who knows how it'll all turn out for that number 41, Christopher Weil. Clean shot. Green flag is out. Looks like Poindexter. Oh, bit of contact right behind. Nick Miller is dead sideways. He won't be able to save it, though. Big wreck. Holy.
People
multiple cars are upside down.
Huge flip. Oh my.
Oh my gosh. And this is all benefits for that number 21.
But look at Carson Poindexter's last restart. That was shocking that he was able to hold on that well.
I thought that last wreck was big, but this one even bigger. This one wiping out a huge amount of cars and multiple trucks flipping on the front straightaway. And Nick,
yeah, that was all Miller.
I wouldn't say it was all him. He got a bump, and Gardner flies across the track. Oh my gosh!
Look at Gardner flip into the catch fence, rolls on the safer barrier, on the top of the safer barrier.
I mean,
back onto other cars.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's Nick's fault. Or maybe it was.
Yeah,
never mind. From
fault.
that angle, now it definitely looks like his fault.
Down on Brody Gardner. Yeah, looking at it here, it looks like Miller tries to get a jump on Lightus, go to his inside, didn't realize that Brody Gardner was there. Tries to save it down the whole entire front straightaway and wrecks a bunch of cars. So many contenders taken out. And look at Brody Gardner. How does that thing just looks lightweight compared to everything else?
I got a better look at it, and it looks like Nick Miller both came down and Brody Gardner moved up the track on the restart, probably just to get the optimal launch, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I was. Just another situation of one coming down, one coming up. This time off the restart.
I'd say that was definitely a lot more of Miller coming down, though, at that point.
But that's basically
you're
what
going
you
for
have to do
everything
off
on
of
the
restarts.
restart. Yeah, you're going for everything on that restart.
Right.
Miller obviously on 15-lap newer tires than his competitors up in the front of the field. But now Carson Poindexter has leapfrogged Brandon Lightus, which is huge for him. He is on those 15-lap newer tires as well, and now he's going to be starting alongside of that 41. So maybe, just maybe, we can see a Carson Poindexter win here tonight.
I'm not sure. He's come
Another
up...
car, Cole Williams, in fourth now.
Yeah, he's come up second so many times. It's ridiculous now. I'm pretty sure he's going to be hungry for a win, but unfortunately, he's going to have to pass his own teammate to get to that top spot. And with Weil, he's definitely not going to be letting go of that top spot. But man, that sucks for all those drivers who hit pit road, try to gamble with their tires, and this, yeah, another big wreck. And not really much to say off of that, because, man, that was not much I could really say. Just drivers as aggressive as they can off the restarts. Especially, I think in this situation, they're frustrated. Everybody's frustrated with the amount of cautions left we had this past this past half of the race. I mean, the total contrast of the Xfinity race, in which we basically went green from halfway forward from this point all the way to this point. It has been caution filled, so sort of an inverse of what we saw in the Xfinity series. But everybody knows the lap count. There are only 5 laps to go
on the restart.
We're gonna get an overtime restart.
Yeah, but look at this top 10. Look at how it's changed now. We have Cole Williams up here, Mark Frimpong back up here after I thought he got a huge piece of that last crash. William Sheen now up to 6th place. Glenn Bundren with that torn up race truck is now in 6th. Now, it looks like Noah Allison also in the top 10. Kevin White and Blaise Crawford now. So this shook up the order massively, and this is going to help a couple of those cars on that bubble as well. Mark Frimpong, obviously 13th entering this race. He's going to be in 5th place on this next restart.
Again, take a look at all these tires. Poindexter has the freshest one. He has the freshest set, alongside Cole Williams and Mark Frimpong.
Yeah,
Frimpong has
Williams
damage
on the newest tires in the top 5. Yeah.
But he has damage. That 53 has damage. That's why I don't think he's going to be a factor. But for Poindexter, though,
too.
All bets off for that number 21. What can he do to not finish second? He's finished second too many times. It's about time this new year will kick it off into his favor. The caution comes out off the restart. Everybody's scrambling left and right. What is this mess?
Oh, Weil almost gets turned by Brandon Lightus having an incident.
Oh, and Noah Allison goes around.
Yeah, Noah Allison's day is
back on the pace car. We're not going green this time. We are not going green.
But, yeah, the pace car just... What? The pace car just teleported.
Yeah, they didn't go green, and everybody got sort of confused.
We'll have to wait and see if that was a delayed green.
Yeah, it was a delayed green.
On the restart. Oh, somebody blew up back
Somebody
there.
blew a motor by the looks of it. Was it Berge? No, it wasn't.
Who was it?
Oh, it was
somebody
Berge.
with dark smoke. Yeah, Joe Berge. He blows up and I think stops on the racetrack, and that brings it out as we're coming to the restart.
And Frimpong...
Brandon Lightus doesn't expect it.
Oh my gosh. This is
and
bizarre.
Then Noah Allison just cut across.
024.
Noah Allison just cut across of somebody there.
Yeah, that was Harry Grindle.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of people got confused if it was going green or not. But
that was definitely a delayed green because of somebody blowing a motor.
Yeah, so we'll re-rack it up and try again. But unfortunately, it takes Noah Allison in the process. But Weil also got damage off of that.
Weil has damage. Lightus obviously was the main person in that.
I don't think Weil is like... he's not like tore up or some type of stuff. A fire stopped on the racetrack.
Sitting there. Maybe that was why. No,
he's trying to let people by.
But anyways, yeah, Lightus was the main. Lightus was the main person in that incident to get the most loose outside of Noah Allison, and that should affect a couple of things with him, maybe his tires or some damage. Mark Frimpong obviously got cut across as well, and Noah Allison obviously going nose first into the wall. But as we re-rack him for this overtime restart, hopefully we don't have something like that happen again.
That was the first time I've ever seen something like that. That was bizarre.
Yeah, that was very weird.
But here we go. Either way, green, white, checkered for Poindexter. Attempt number 2 on green, white, checkered number 1. Bit confusing stuff right there, but here we go. Green flag. Oh my gosh, look at the jump that the 41 got. Oh! Noah Allison does not get going.
Allison. Yeah, he's definitely hella down on power. But anyways, as we come through turn 1, will Poindexter get to him now?
Oh, looks like Cole Williams has the outside on Lightus, so...
Right, man,
oh, a caution comes out, so...
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Will that be the end of the race or no?
No, it's not. It's definitely not the end of the race. You still got...
Malachi Drake's second yellow of the day. What happened here? What is it with...
Oh, Nick got a tap.
Oh, Miller got loose, but yeah, that was
24.
Enzo Gautier who gets into the left quarter of Malachi Drake, who did flip over earlier in today's broadcast, but goes around again with help from Gautier. And looks like everybody does a pretty good job of avoiding him outside of that.
Same, Hess. Honestly, same. Oh my goodness. This race has been caution-filled. And every caution is something different.
Oh.
Something to say?
Yeah,
I was assigning penalties and I was logging the incidents and I heard my name, so I was a bit startled.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
look who moved into P6 now. Kevin White.
Yeah, Kevin White Jr. Wasn't he wrecked?
Yeah, he wrecked earlier on. And he was like outside of the top 20. He was running 30th at one point. He's currently 6th place.
Keelan Belch is sitting 9th right now. What is this?
Tyler Connor's behind him.
Yeah, and Glenn Bundren's running 8th. This is a huge
shakeup.
This is a crazy top 5. I mean,
Mitch
top 10.
Hobbs has gone around about 5 times today, and he's running 11th.
Yeah, and he's down on RPM as well, so... Of course, that big wreck into turn number 1 really wiped out a bunch of cars,
A bunch of cars, yeah.
the man who, you know, all benefits to him, that number 41, Christopher Weil. You know, he likes what he sees in the mirror, but unfortunate for him, it's taken at least a millennial for him to pick up the checkered flag. But as I said, he probably has this thing locked down ever since ever since 19 laps to go.
I wouldn't say that yet. I mean, look at the 2 people behind him, both of them on way newer tires at this point.
Yeah,
that should
but
be interesting.
I don't know.
If Williams can get to him, that will change a lot of things, because then Poindexter has the chance of just zooming around the outside. But it could just be down to teammates Poindexter and Christopher Weil. Obviously, Cole Williams will be looking to get that first win for Eel Media Racing, though. So I'm kind of rooting for him here. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that's right. Eel Media Racing. I don't know if they have a win this season. I think they do.
I don't think they do. They might though.
They might. If it is, it's probably 1. But let me go ahead and take a look, just in case, for Eel Media Racing.
Cole Williams has been very strong in other leagues as well. The main league that comes to my head is Dogs Racing League. He is almost always a contender for the win in that series. He is very deadly in that series.
Yeah,
there is so much arguing in the drivers chat right now that I'm trying to keep up. So if anyone's watching, I'm sorry for not being talkative, basically, because I'm just trying to catch up in admin and log stuff. So my apologies.
Look at this top 10. I can't believe this. Henry Tabor is 13th. Max Urich, after going head-on into the wall in the big turn 1 rank, is 14th.
I don't know what to expect, really. This is just gonna be crazy.
We're gonna have a very weird finishing order here, and this is very big, especially since we're coming up towards the regular season finale now.
That's right. This I didn't expect this race to be a wild card, but I guess it is.
And we only have even more wild cards. Talladega, Bristol coming up as well.
That is right. Here we go. Coming to the green. iSCAR scoots itself on in. On the hands of that number 41, who hits the throttle.
Green, green,
Looks like Cole Williams is going to get to the underside of Poindexter. No, never mind. He doesn't. Look at them scramble 4 or 5 wide in the back. up front, though. While who washes up the corner.
Poindexter cuts to the inside, but it didn't look like he got enough speed to even remotely contend off of the corner. And it looks like Cole Williams will go for the move behind them as they almost wrecked for the top 10 spot back there. But now Cole Williams looking like he could be the one that...
Oh, he might spin!
What a save by Cole Williams, but now Carson Poindexter back in the catbird seat. White flag is out here at New Hampshire.
Yeah, as soon as they got side by side for a second, you could seal the deal for that number 41 of Christopher Weil right up off the corner. They go side by side for that position. Mitch Hobbs goes around outside the top 10. And there they go in the background. But all in the meantime of that, for that number 41 of Christopher Weil, New Year's is all to him. His New Year's resolution will kick off with a W in the Truck Series in 2021. Christopher Weil wins here at New Hampshire.
And as we're coming across the line, looks like Kevin White just got a top 5 as well. Wow, what a day for him.
Brandon Light is third.
Brandon, look at this top 10. I know Weil and Poindexter, we kind of come to expect that. But after that, Lightus, Williams, White. And not Parker White, it's Kevin White this time. What a weird finishing order here at New Hampshire as Christopher Weil takes, in my opinion, a well-deserved win. Could be a double burnout here.
Probably is. Man, Weil had it knocked down as soon as he hit the throttle. As soon as he got clear from that second spot, all in the hands of Poindexter and Lightus to fend off for their own positions, because Weil was going to pull away once they got side by side, and he secures it here tonight after a hectic New Hampshire race. And we'll go over our order here right in front of your screen. Christopher Weil rounds himself up top. Carson Poindexter second. Brandon Lightus, what a run by him, P3. Cole Williams, P4. Kevin White Jr., after being wrecked, P5. Mark Frimpong, Henry Tabor, Max Urich ties his best finish in 8th place. Liam Sheen, Dominic Howe round out the top 10.
As we come outside of the top 10 now, Josh Patterson, involved in just about every wreck today, will end up 11th. P12 goes to David Bachman in a surprise run for him. Harry Grindell, after wrecking, gets 13th. 14th for Nick Miller after causing that big wreck. 15th, Tyler Connors. 16th will be Keelan Belcher, your LCQ winner. 17th is Zach Corbett. 18th, Brady Weilman. 19th, Paul Granat. And Malachi Drake will round out your top 20.
Justin Johnson will round out 21st. Enzo Gauthier, 22nd. Mitch Hobbs, the one who spawned off a 2, he'll round out 23rd. Aaron Brown, Glenn Bundren, Noah Allison, Blaze Crawford, Charlie Byer, William Schmidt, Joe Berge, all laps down.
31st, Dylan Basin. That's a points shakeup right there. Then Aiden Kirker. Parker White ends up 33rd with Brody Gardner in 34th. So that's a big, massive shakeup there. And Sartaj Mann, Corey Long, Peter Kenny, Hunter Johnson finishes 38th after manually disconnecting. Casey Drake and Eric Heater will round out your top 40, and I believe the entire pack.
All right, that'll do it for the finish here for tonight, but we still have more to come. Post-race for the New Hampshire 110. We'll be right back interviewing out the top 3, Christopher Weil, Carson Poindexter, and Brandon W. Lightus.
are back at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, where the field is rolling out for the start of today's 400-lap race on this .625-mile racetrack. And just as the field comes around turn number 4, the sunshine peeks through, helping warm things here. Bill Elliott leads him down. Benny Parsons on the outside. The green flag flies, and the first Union 400 Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro is underway. Everybody nicely through turns number 1 and 2 as Bill Elliott has the lead and Dale Earnhardt has jumped into second position, followed by Benny Parsons and Bobby Allison. Oh, here we go. It's just about to go away. They bump coming out of turn 4. Earnhardt gets the lead. We had just heard from our spotters that Neil Bonnet. Dale Earnhardt is on his last lap. This will be his 24th career win. Dale Earnhardt wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
We welcome everybody back here live for the post-race coverage, iSCAR SYMTV Truck Series, live on Max Speed TV. Finally, ending this race off here tonight. Congratulations to our winner, at number 41 of Christopher Weil. Rounds himself to the top of the board. But before we dive into interviews, what do you think about tonight?
Well, this was a very hectic race from start to finish. I wasn't expecting it to put on this great of a show. I was kind of expecting a more tame race, but I think it kind of all got set into motion when Hunter Johnson, the defending winner of this race, decided to just disconnect that early into the race, and I think that opened the door for just about everybody. And we saw a very hectic race from that point onward.
Yeah, this was probably one of the most stressful races, more stressful than Martinsville, because there was just so many cautions and people overdriving the corner and plowing through others. It wasn't the best race in the world.
Yeah, I don't think it definitely wasn't the best race in the world, but regardless, we finally got it done. And rounding himself in victory lane is no other than that number 41 of Christopher Weil. Into the booth he goes. Christopher! Kicking off 2021 with a win here in the iSCAR SYMTV Truck Series event. Congratulations, buddy. My goodness. So, yeah, not really as many words because that last half of the race was very caution-filled, but guide me through it.
Well, I was always like a top 3 pace car all day behind Parker and Brody, but I was able to take the lead from... Or I was able to get ahead of Brody on a pit stop and then take the lead from Parker with a tire difference. And I really kind of never looked back from there, which was really nice. The clean air suited my throwback to 408 racing truck very well. We actually found this truck in the back of our SPM shop, and Ritwick helped me slap some SPM stickers on it. So it was Dario's old chassis on here, and I returned it to its rightful place up front. But that last half of the race was a little crazy. I think some people were going for a little more than they could really get, and it was frustrating at times because I just wanted to finish the race. I wanted to race. I didn't want to run it under yellow, and you know, people started jumping the restarts and all sorts of weird stuff happened, but we at least finished it out and got an SPM 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, that's right. Well, you were the only person who decided to stay out on that little scuffle there around lap, I mean, not lap 20, but 20 to go. You decided to stay out, and luckily for you, the gamble played off right, as, of course, that big wreck heading into turns number 1 wiped out a lot of contenders. So, what was going through your mind as you see all those drivers with fresher tires wrecking the back?
Yeah, I mean, I knew Carson and Nick Miller had already pitted the yellow before, so I knew they were at least going to stay out. And Brody and I were discussing it in our team chat, and I told him, hey, I don't think my tires are that bad. I'm just going to stay out. I don't want to give up the track position. You can pit if you want. And he did, and a lot of cars followed, but a lot more stayed out. And the wreck it took out Brody and Parker, and that's when I knew this was really mine to lose, especially because Nick Miller was also in that, and he was a contender for sure. So it was just a matter of holding off teammates, and Carson definitely took a couple looks at me there at the end. But he raced me clean for it, which is awesome, so I respect him for that.
Yep, you add on another stat, Carson Poindexter's second place resume, another page into the books, unfortunately, for that number 21. But regardless, for you, that number 41 in victory lane, kicking off 2021 with a big win here tonight. Congratulations, for, and any sponsor want to thank you for tonight?
Yeah, I want to thank Darius for giving me the approval to run a 408 Racing Throwback, Ritwick for slapping those logos on there, and of course, I always give a shout out to my Schramm Poindexter Motorsports teammates. They are awesome, they raced me clean all race, and I couldn't wish for better teammates.
Alright, bud, 10 for Christopher Weil, and then number 41 rounds himself out here in victory lane. I think he'll become the first driver or second. Never mind that. I can't think of the statistic off the top of my head since you have so many wins on your back. But anyway, congratulations on your 4th win of the season. We'll go ahead and see you in your next race, bud.
Thanks. See you then.
Scoot ourselves back to number 21 of Carson Poindexter. And into the booth he goes.
Carson, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, it's another second place finish on your resume, but it was probably to the best person you could have finished second to, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I thought I was going to be able to get to him because my tires were a little bit fresher. I just couldn't get the restarts down.
Well, you were one of the biggest movers in points after this race. You moved back up into second spot after losing your points lead due to a suspension, but you are back in second, so looking at the regular season championship, how do you feel about your chances for that one?
I feel pretty good. It's going to be hard to make up those points on Chris, but I feel pretty good overall about making the chase and moving on from there.
Well, it was a very hectic last, I'd say, half of that race with all of those wrecks, but you pulled through and got a second place finish tonight, so how did you do that, and how was it coming back up through the field after a not so great start?
Around like lap 80 there, while we were under caution, I decided to jump down pit road at the last second and take my last set of tires and just stay out the rest of the way because I figured there's going to be a lot of wrecks coming to the finish. So I was just playing strategy and was able to make it work with slightly fresher tires and trying to save them until the end.
Well, the strategy pays off for Carson Poindexter. He will end up with a second place finish here tonight at New Hampshire International. But before I let you go, any people or sponsors you want to thank?
Yeah, I want to thank Ritwick Designs, Trey Shuttlesworth Photography, Side Drafting Productions, and everyone at SPM Racing.
All right, well, second place finish for you tonight, so thank you, and we'll see you for the next one.
Thank you.
Scroll ourselves back to one more position because Brandon Elias can't get an interview for that number 42 of Cole Williams. I don't even know if he's in the... No, he's not even in the booth, so we'll go ahead and drag in the number 13 of Kevin White Jr. into the booth. Garrett Hess will go ahead and take this one away.
What's going on, Kevin? You got 5th place. How does it feel to be in the top 5 for once?
Feels good, man. This caught me by surprise, but yeah, it feels good, man.
So I know this is a new experience being interviewed. So on a scale of 1 to 10, how was the setup or just the car in general today?
It was all right. It was probably like a 8. It was really tight, and then like if we actually got some laps in, it started to even out.
Because I know this race was about a 2 on the scale, but so did you just kind of find yourself in 5th place, or did you like actively try to work your way up there?
Well, around like lap 100, I came in and took my final set, and I noticed after Nick Miller killed the field, I found myself in 10th and everybody else was damaged, so I just kind of took advantage and actually tried to get track position.
Now that's a way to get 5th place, my dude. Is there anyone you'd like to thank for your awesome finish?
Just PPM. That's about it. Yeah, and everybody putting it on.
All right. I think that about wraps up this interview. Good job on the 5th place finish after a very hectic race. We'll see you, I believe, tomorrow for 200 or 300 laps around Charlotte in the Cup car.
Yep. See ya.
That was Kevin White in the number 13, and I'll probably do it out here for interviews from the top of the booth. Thank you all for tuning in and being patient with the standards here set tonight by the iSCAR members. But otherwise than that, thank you all for tuning in here tonight. Any last comments you want to say, Hunter or Hess?
Well, I'd say we ended up with a lot more of a wild card race than I thought a lot of people thought we were going to end up with here, and I think we made the best of it.
I don't really have any. I don't really have any comments.
All right, but all right, guys, 10-4 on that. So we'll go ahead and end out this broadcast here for tonight for the iSCAR Sim TV Truck Series. Thank you all for tuning in tonight. We will see you coming to the tomorrow's event, in which we will see the Cup cars at Charlotte for 300 laps. So that should be a hectic one from start to finish. Of course, a very, very long race on that spectrum. Otherwise than that, thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time.